Captain Hyunwoo stared at the alien ships through the bridge window of the Earth defense vessel Resilience. 3 massive gray vessels hung in space near Saturn's rings like sleeping giants. Each ship was twice the size of his own vessel, their hulls covered in strange symbols that glowed with blue light. "Captain, they're sending another message," said Lieutenant Da-yoon from her station. She was young but smart, always finding new ways to make their weapons work better. "Same demand as before. They want us to shut down our engines and wait for their inspection team." Hyunwoo shook his head. "Tell them no. Again." "Sir, they're saying it's galactic law. They claim all new species must follow something called the sacred codes." Da-yoon's fingers moved over her controls. "According to their message, we have to prove we're worthy before we can talk to anyone important." "Worthy of what?" Hyunwoo asked. He had been a ship captain for 15 years. He had never backed down from pirates or rebels, and he would not start now with these aliens. The lead alien ship moved closer. A new voice came through the speakers, cold and mechanical. "Human vessel, I am Commander Vextar of the Hegemony Fleet. You will comply with first contact protocols immediately. Lower your shields and prepare for boarding." Hyunwoo picked up the communication device. "Commander Vextar, this is Captain Hyunwoo of the Earth Defense Force. We're happy to talk, but as equals. We don't do inspections." There was a long pause. Then Vextar spoke again, and this time he sounded confused. "You do not understand. The sacred codes require all primitive species to undergo the trial of submission. This process ensures you are ready for galactic civilization." "How long does this trial take?" Hyunwoo asked. "Between 20 and 50 of your years, depending on your species' ability to learn proper behavior." Hyunwoo laughed. He could not help it. The idea of waiting 50 years just to have a conversation was ridiculous. "Commander, I have a better idea. How about we skip the trial and go straight to the talking part?" "Impossible," Vextar replied. "The sacred codes have governed first contact for 50,000 years. No species has ever refused the trial." "Well, you just met the first one," Hyunwoo said. "Da-yoon, show them we're serious." Lieutenant Da-yoon smiled. She had been working on new weapons for months, testing ideas that Earth scientists said would not work. "Yes, sir. Targeting their weapon systems." The experimental plasma cannons fired 3 quick bursts. The energy beams hit the alien ships, exactly where Da-yoon aimed them. The aliens' weapons went dark and their ships started drifting sideways. "What have you done?" Vexatar's voice cracked with shock. "Our defensive systems should have stopped any primitive weapon." "Maybe your systems need an update," Da-yoon said into her communicator. Hyunwoo watched the alien ships try to restart their weapons. "Commander Vextar, we've disabled your guns, not destroyed them. Consider it a demonstration. We want to talk, but we're not going to submit to anyone." "This is impossible," Vextar repeated. "Your technology readings show you have barely left your home system. You should not possess weapons capable of penetrating our shields." "Your readings might be wrong," Hyunwoo suggested. "We humans have a saying, expect the unexpected." Admiral Sujin's voice came through on a private channel from Luna Base. "Hyunwoo, what's your status? We're seeing 3 alien ships on our sensors. First contact, Admiral. They want us to follow their rules. I'm explaining that we prefer to make our own." "Good man. How are they taking it?" Hyunwoo looked at the alien ships, which were now moving away from Saturn. "I think they're going home to ask their bosses what to do when someone says no." "Commander," Vextar's voice returned colder than before. "Human vessel, you have violated every protocol of civilized first contact. The Galactic Confederation will be informed of your hostile actions." "Hostile?" Hyunwoo raised an eyebrow. "We disabled your weapons without destroying your ships or hurting your crew. Where I come from, that's called being polite. The sacred codes clearly state that new species must not resist authority. You have committed the gravest violation possible." "Commander, let me explain something about humans," Hyunwoo said. "We don't like being told what to do by strangers. We especially don't like being told we have to prove ourselves worthy of basic respect. If your Confederation wants to talk to Earth, they can send someone with authority to negotiate." "You speak of negotiation as if you were equals." Vextar said. You are a primitive species that has barely mastered spaceflight. Dayun looked up from her station. Captain, their ships are charging jump drives. Looks like they're leaving. Before you go, Commander, Hyunwoo said, let me give you some free advice. Next time you meet a new species, try saying hello instead of demanding submission. You might be surprised at the results. The alien ships disappeared in flashes of blue light, leaving the Resilience alone near Saturn's rings. Sir, Daeun said, do you think we just started a war? Hyunwoo thought about it. Earth had always been good at fighting when cornered. They had survived wars, plagues, and disasters that should have destroyed them. Now they faced an entire galaxy that expected them to bow down and wait decades for permission to be treated with respect. Maybe, he said finally. But if we did, it's a war we're going to fight on our terms, not theirs. Admiral Soo-jin's voice came through again. Hyunwoo, I'm getting reports from deep space monitors. Those alien ships just jumped toward the galactic core. We might have company soon. How soon? Unknown. But I suggest you get back to Earth. We need to prepare for whatever comes next. Hyunwoo looked at his crew. They were young, smart, and eager. They had just seen their weapons defeat technology that was supposedly far advanced beyond anything Earth could produce. They looked ready for anything. You heard the Admiral, he said. Set course for home, and Daeun, send all your weapon data to Earth Defense Command. If more aliens show up, I want every ship in the fleet armed with whatever you just used. As the Resilience turned toward Earth, Hyunwoo wondered what the aliens would do next. Probably send a bigger fleet with more demands and threats. That was how bullies worked, and the Galactic Confederation sounded like the biggest bully in the galaxy. But humans had dealt with bullies before. They had learned that sometimes the only way to stop a bully was to punch back harder than expected. The galaxy was about to learn that lesson too. 3 months after the first alien contact, Admiral Soo-jin stood in the command center on Luna Base, watching the largest fleet Earth had ever seen prepare for battle. Through the reinforced windows, she could see the moon's surface covered with new weapons that had been built in record time. Admiral, long-range sensors are picking up the alien fleet, reported Captain Jin Ho from his patrol ship near Jupiter. 47 vessels, all bigger than anything we've seen before. Soo-jin nodded. After Captain Hyunwoo's encounter at Saturn, Earth had used every resource to prepare for this moment. The aliens had sent messages demanding immediate surrender and compliance with their sacred codes. Earth's answer had been to turn the entire solar system into a fortress. All stations, this is Admiral Soo-jin. Enemy fleet will reach the outer system in 6 hours. Remember your training, and remember why we're fighting. They came here expecting to find one scared planet. Let's show them what humans do when someone tries to push us around. Lieutenant Haewon checked her targeting systems one more time. The railguns built into Luna's surface were her responsibility, and she had spent weeks making sure they would work perfectly. Railgun batteries ready, Admiral. We've got firing solutions on the approach vectors. Captain Young-soo's voice came through from his stealth fighter squadron, hidden in the asteroid belt. Go squadron ready. The aliens won't see us coming until we're right on top of them. Soo-jin smiled. The aliens thought they understood human technology because they had scanned a few patrol ships. They had no idea what Earth could build when every factory and shipyard worked together with one goal. Admiral, called Commander Jin Ho, the alien fleet just dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. They're broadcasting on all frequencies. Let's hear it, Soo-jin said. A cold, mechanical voice filled the command center. This is Fleet Admiral Kethmore of the Galactic Confederation. The human species has violated first contact protocols and resisted lawful authority. You will surrender immediately and submit to correction procedures. Soo-jin picked up the communicator. Fleet Admiral, this is Admiral Soo-jin of the Earth Defense Force. You're not welcome in our system. Turn around and leave, or we'll make you leave. There was a pause, then laughter. Admiral Soo-jin, you command a primitive species with basic space technology. Our fleet consists of 47 battlecruisers, each capable of destroying your entire world. Surrender now, and your species will be allowed to survive under proper supervision. You know what, Admiral? Soo-jin replied. I think you've been reading old reports. Let me show you what humans have been building while you were traveling here. The first surprise came when the alien fleet moved toward Earth. They expected to fly straight through empty space, but instead found themselves in a maze of automated weapons platforms hidden throughout the asteroid belt. Each platform was small and hard to detect, but their combined firepower could tear apart a battleship. Impossible! Kethmore's voice cracked as his ships came under attack from dozens of directions at once. Our sensors showed no significant military installations in this system. That's because you don't know how to look for human engineering, Su-Jin said. Captain Young-Su's fighters appeared from nowhere, hitting the alien ships with weapons that somehow penetrated their shields. Lieutenant Hae-Won fired the lunar railguns, sending metal projectiles through space at incredible speed. The aliens had strong energy shields, but they were not designed to stop solid objects moving at a significant portion of the speed of light. Admiral, their formation is breaking apart, reported Captain Jin Ho. They're trying to regroup, but our fighters are all over them. The alien fleet had expected to face Earth's small patrol ships and maybe a few orbital platforms. Instead, they found themselves fighting an entire solar system that had been turned into a weapon. Every moon, asteroid, and space station had been armed and connected into a single defense network. This violates every principle of galactic warfare, Kethmore shouted over the communication channel. Primitive species do not possess system-wide military networks. We're not primitive, Su-Jin replied calmly. We're just different. The aliens' biggest shock came when Sergeant Bo-Ra led her Marine unit in an attack on the alien flagship. According to galactic military doctrine, boarding actions were impossible against modern warships. The Sacred Code specifically stated that energy shields and automated defenses made such attacks suicidal. But Bo-Ra had studied the alien ships during the first encounter. She noticed that their shields were designed to stop energy weapons and large objects, not small craft moving at unusual angles. Her Marines used modified mining pods to approach the alien flagship from directions the designers had never considered. Admiral, we're inside their command ship, Bo-Ra reported as her team fought through the alien corridors. Their security systems weren't designed for close combat. We're heading for their bridge now. Kethmore could not believe what was happening. In 50,000 years of galactic warfare, no species had ever successfully boarded a Confederation battlecruiser during combat. The very idea was considered impossible. Human Marines have somehow penetrated our flagship, he broadcast to his fleet. This should not be possible according to all known military science. Maybe your science needs updating, Su-Jin suggested. Bo-Ra and her Marines reached the alien bridge and captured Kethmore without firing a shot. The alien crew was so shocked by the impossible boarding action that they surrendered immediately. Admiral Su-Jin, Bo-Ra reported, we control their flagship. The alien commander wants to discuss terms. Su-Jin looked at the tactical display. The alien fleet was scattered and confused. Half their ships were damaged and their command vessel was under human control. What had started as an easy conquest had turned into a complete disaster for the Confederation. Kethmore, are you ready to listen now? She asked. I do not understand, the alien commander replied. Our technology is superior. Our ships are more advanced. Our tactics have been tested across the galaxy. How did a primitive species defeat us so easily? That's your problem right there, Su-Jin explained. You keep calling us primitive because we haven't been flying around the galaxy for thousands of years. But we've been fighting wars on Earth for all of human history. We know how to adapt, how to innovate, how to find new solutions to old problems. Captain Young-Su's voice came through from his fighter. Admiral, the remaining alien ships are pulling back. Looks like they want to retreat. Let them go, Su-Jin ordered. But not before they get a message to take back to their Confederation. She opened a channel to the entire alien fleet. Attention Confederation forces. You came here expecting to find a weak species that would submit to your authority. Instead, you found humans. We don't follow your rules because we were never given a choice in making them. You want to treat us as equals? Come back with diplomats, not warships. You want to fight? Remember what happened here today. The alien ships limped away from Earth's solar system, leaving behind 3 damaged vessels that Su-Jin's forces had captured intact. The first major battle between humans and the galaxy was over, and Earth had won. Admiral, Captain Jin Ho asked. What do we do now? Su Jin looked at the data from the captured alien ships. Human engineers were already studying their technology, finding ways to improve it and adapt it for Earth's needs. Now we prepare for round 2, she said, because that was just their opening move. When the Confederation realizes what happened here, they're going to send everything they have. Lieutenant Hei Wan looked up from her station. Do you think we can beat them again? Su Jin smiled. Hei Wan, we just proved that their superior technology and ancient tactics mean nothing when they face human creativity. The galaxy has been playing by the same rules for 50,000 years. We're about to teach them some new ones. The emergency session of the Galactic Confederation Council had been going for 3 days. Councillor Mordesh looked at the reports from Earth with growing disbelief. In 50,000 years of galactic history, nothing like this had ever happened. Humans have violated 17 separate articles of the sacred codes, announced Councillor Velthar, reading from the official complaint. Refusal to submit to First Contact Authority, deployment of system-wide military networks, use of forbidden boarding tactics, and resistance to lawful correction forces. But that's not the worst part, added Councillor Zephyrin. Our intelligence reports show they've somehow achieved faster-than-light travel using completely unknown principles. 3 months ago, they were confined to their home system. Now they're everywhere. Captain Minho stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Pioneer, looking at a star map that would have been impossible just weeks ago. His navigator, Lieutenant Ye Jin, had discovered something that violated everything the galaxy knew about space travel. Captain, I'm reading 13 new human colonies in this sector alone, Ye Jin reported. Each one established in the last month. According to Confederation law, colonization should take decades of planning and approval. Minho nodded. After the battle at Earth, human scientists had studied the captured alien technology and found something interesting. The Confederation's hyperspace travel was safe and reliable, but it was also slow and predictable. Humans had found a way to make it faster by ignoring the safety rules that the aliens considered sacred. Any response from the local Confederation forces? Minho asked. Yes, sir. They're demanding we abandon our colonies and return to Earth for proper processing. Standard threats about violating territorial agreements and colonization protocols. What did Commander Taewoo tell them? Lieutenant Ye Jin smiled. He said they could file a complaint with the Human Colonial Authority, which he just invented yesterday. Back on Earth, Commander Taewoo was indeed making up new rules as fast as the aliens could complain about them. Each human colony was protected by defenses that shouldn't exist, powered by energy sources that violated known physics, and defended by tactics that made no sense according to galactic military doctrine. Sir, we've got another Confederation patrol demanding we evacuate the New Sol colony, reported his communications officer. Tell them we'll consider it, Taewoo replied. After they submit their request to our Department of Galactic Relations, fill out the proper forms, and wait for approval. Should only take 20 to 50 years. The Confederation Council was not amused by human humor. Councillor Mordesh called for the ultimate sanction, stellar bombardment. If the humans would not follow the sacred codes, their entire species would be eliminated as an example to other potential rebels. Admiral Kethvar commanded the punishment fleet sent to carry out this sentence. 100 of the Confederation's most powerful warships, armed with weapons capable of destroying entire worlds. The humans would finally learn the price of defying galactic law, but when Kethvar's fleet reached Earth's solar system, they found something that shook them to their core. The system was empty, not abandoned or evacuated, but completely empty. Every human ship, station, and installation had simply vanished. This is impossible, Kethvar muttered, staring at the sensor readings. An entire civilization cannot simply disappear in 3 months. His science officer looked confused. Admiral, we're detecting a transmission from the third planet. It appears to be a recorded message. The message appeared on the main screen, showing a human in a military uniform. Greetings, Confederation forces. I am Commander Taewoo of the Human Colonial Authority. If you're seeing this, it means you came here to destroy us rather than talk to us. We find this disappointing but not surprising. Kethvar watched in growing alarm as the human continued. You wanted to teach us the rules of your galaxy. We studied them very carefully. We learned that the sacred codes require all species to stay in their assigned territories, use approved technologies, and follow established colonization procedures. We also learned that these rules only apply to species that accept Confederation authority. The message smiled. Since we never agreed to join your Confederation, we don't consider ourselves bound by your rules. While you were traveling here, to punish us, we were busy writing our own. Kethvar's communications officer looked up with shock. Admiral, I'm detecting human signals from 47 different star systems. They've colonized nearly an eighth of this galactic arm in 3 months. That's impossible, Kethvar shouted. Colonization requires decades of preparation, environmental studies, and cultural adaptation periods. But the evidence was undeniable. Human colonies had appeared throughout the galaxy like flowers blooming after rain. Each one was different, adapted to local conditions using techniques that the Confederation had never seen. Some colonies were built inside asteroids, others floated in gas giant atmospheres, and a few had even been established in the empty space between stars. Admiral, his tactical officer reported, we're receiving surrender demands from 12 different human fleets. They're offering to accept our surrender and provide safe passage back to Confederation space. Surrender demands? Kethvar could barely speak. We have 100 battle cruisers. They're offering to let us surrender? The answer came when human ships began appearing around his fleet. Not the small patrol vessels they had fought before, but massive warships that dwarfed even Confederation battle cruisers. Each ship was unique, built using a combination of human innovation and improved alien technology. Captain Jun Woo commanded the human flagship Freedom, a vessel that had been built in just 2 months using techniques that should have taken decades to develop. Admiral Kethvar, this is Captain Jun Woo of the Independent Systems Alliance. Your fleet is surrounded and outgunned. Surrender now, and your crews will be treated according to the laws of civilized warfare. Independent Systems Alliance? Kethvar asked weakly. That's what we call ourselves now, Junwoo explained. We tried to join your confederation as equals, but you insisted we follow rules we had no part in making. So we made our own organization, with our own rules. Any species that wants to join us as equals is welcome. Kethvar looked at his tactical display. His 100 ships were completely surrounded by 300 human vessels, each one bristling with weapons that his science officers couldn't identify. Somehow, in 3 months, humanity had built a fleet larger than most Confederation sectors. How? He asked. How did you build so many ships so quickly? We didn't follow your manufacturing protocols, Junwoo replied. You require decades of testing and approval for new designs. We build prototypes, test them in combat, and improve them based on what works. Your ships are monuments to ancient engineering. Ours are tools that we make better every day. Admiral Kethvar realized that his punishment fleet had become a joke. He had come to destroy a primitive species and instead found an empire that had grown beyond anything the Confederation could imagine. What do you want from us? He asked. Nothing, Junwoo said. We don't want to conquer your territory or force you to follow our rules. We just want you to leave us alone to build something better than what you're offering. As Kethvar's fleet limped back toward Confederation space, the Admiral understood that everything had changed. The sacred codes that had governed the galaxy for 50,000 years were suddenly just suggestions. Humanity had proven that a species could ignore galactic law and not only survive, but thrive. The galaxy would never be the same again. Back on the bridge of the Freedom, Captain Junwoo looked at the star charts showing human colonies spreading across dozens of systems. In 3 months, humanity had gone from a single planet to a galactic power. They had done it by refusing to accept that things had to stay the same just because they had always been that way. Captain, his communications officer reported, we're getting messages from 6 different alien species asking about joining the Alliance. Junwoo smiled. Send them our basic requirements: equal representation, mutual defense, and the right to govern themselves however they choose. No sacred codes, no ancient rules, just beings working together to build something better. The age of the sacred codes was ending. The age of human rules was just beginning. 6 months after first contact, the galaxy was learning a new word: impossible. Everything humans did violated some fundamental principle that had been accepted for thousands of years. Admiral Unji stood in the command center of the Alliance, flagship Victory, watching reports come in from 15 different human colonies. Admiral, the Confederation is demanding we appear before the Galactic Court for violations of territorial law, reported her communications officer. What did General Donghyun tell them? Yunji asked. He said we reject their court's authority and will establish our own. The general also suggested they might want to worry more about their own problems. Yunji smiled. The Confederation was, indeed, having problems. 3 more alien species had left to join the human alliance in the past month, and others were demanding changes to the sacred codes that had governed them for millennia. Colonel Seok Min was leading the defense of New Fusan Colony when the Confederation sent another punishment fleet. This time, they brought 200 ships and demanded immediate surrender. Seok Min's response was to deploy infantry tactics that made no sense according to galactic military doctrine. Sir, the aliens are landing troops outside the main settlement, reported his sergeant. Standard Confederation assault formation, just like their manual describes. Seok Min looked at the tactical display. The alien ground forces were moving in precise formations that had been used successfully across the galaxy for thousands of years. They were professional, well-equipped, and confident that they were facing primitive colonists with basic weapons. Perfect, Seok Min said. They're doing exactly what we expected. Deploy the Welcome Committee. The alien troops advanced toward New Busan, expecting to face defensive positions and static fortifications. Instead, they found empty buildings and silent streets. The humans had apparently fled without fighting. Then the ground exploded. Seok Min had studied every human war in history, looking for tactics that alien minds had never encountered. He found inspiration in ancient guerrilla warfare, combined with modern technology that the Confederation couldn't detect. His soldiers appeared from tunnels, rooftops, and underground bunkers, hitting the alien force from every direction at once. This is chaos, the alien commander broadcast. Where are your battle lines? Where are your fortified positions? This is not how civilized warfare is conducted. That's because we're not civilized, Seok Min replied cheerfully. We're human. The alien ground force retreated in confusion after losing half their equipment to an enemy they could barely see. The Confederation's rigid tactical doctrine had no answer for humans who refused to fight, according to established rules. Commander Ha Young was having similar success with diplomacy. The Confederation expected negotiations to follow ancient protocols that took years to complete. Instead, Ha Young would walk into alien government buildings, sit down with local leaders, and simply ask what they wanted to change about their lives. Ambassador, the Velthari Republic is interested in joining the alliance, she reported to Admiral Yunji. They're tired of waiting 50 years for permission to develop new technology. What about the Zephyrin Union? Yunji asked. They've already declared independence from the Confederation. Apparently, they've been wanting to reform their government for centuries, but the sacred codes forbade political changes without galactic approval. The breaking point came when Dr. So Young's research team announced they had developed weapons that the sacred codes declared physically impossible. Her laboratory on New Seoul had been working with captured Confederation technology, finding ways to improve it using human engineering principles. Doctor, explain to me how these new plasma cannons work, Admiral Yunji requested during a secure briefing. So Young pulled up holographic displays showing weapon designs that hurt to look at. The Confederation builds weapons according to ancient specifications that prioritize safety and reliability over performance. We threw out their safety protocols and focused on making things that work better. Are they safe for our people to use? Define safe, So Young said with a grin. They won't explode randomly if that's what you're asking. But they put out 3 times more energy than anything the Confederation has, using half the power. Engineer Wu Jin had achieved similar breakthroughs with ship design. His shipyards were producing vessels that outperformed Confederation designs, that had been refined over millennia. The secret was ignoring everything the aliens considered best practice. The Confederation builds ships like monuments, Wu Jin explained to a group of Alliance engineers. Every component is designed to last forever and never need replacement. We build ships like tools. When something breaks, we fix it. When we find a better way to do something, we change it. His latest creation was the assault ship Phoenix, built in just 3 weeks using techniques that Confederation engineers said would take decades to test properly. The ship had already proven itself in battle against superior alien forces, using speed and adaptability to overcome technological disadvantages. Captain Kyung-ho commanded the defense of New Seoul when the Confederation sent their largest battle group yet to make an example of human defiance. 500 ships armed with weapons designed to crack planets, led by Supreme Admiral Tormesh himself. Captain, they're demanding we surrender the colony and submit to correction procedures, reported his communications officer. Kyung-ho looked at the massive alien fleet surrounding his small defense force. By every measure of military science, the battle was already lost. His 12 ships could not possibly stand against 500 Confederation battle cruisers. Tell the Supreme Admiral we decline his generous offer, Kyung-ho said. And then, show him why numbers don't always matter. The battle that followed became legendary throughout the galaxy. Kyung-ho had studied ancient human naval tactics, looking for strategies that would work in space combat. He found inspiration in historical battles where smaller forces had defeated larger ones through superior positioning and timing. His ships moved in patterns that confused alien targeting systems, appearing and disappearing like ghosts in the void. When the Confederation fleet tried to surround them, they found themselves shooting at empty space while human vessels attacked from unexpected angles. "This is madness," Supreme Admiral Tormesh broadcast. "Your forces are outnumbered 50 to 1. You cannot possibly win this engagement." "You're right," Kyung-ho admitted. "According to your military doctrine, we should have surrendered an hour ago. But we're not following your doctrine." The human ships used the alien fleet's size against them, causing friendly fire incidents when Confederation vessels tried to target the faster human craft. Within 3 hours, the supposedly invincible battle group was retreating in disorder, leaving behind dozens of damaged ships. General Dong Hyun watched the battle reports from his headquarters on Earth and realized that humanity had reached a turning point. They were no longer just defending themselves against Confederation aggression. They were actively reshaping how the galaxy thought about war, diplomacy, and civilization itself. "Sir, we're receiving surrender offers from 43 Confederation sectors," his aide reported. "They want to join the alliance before their governments collapse entirely." Dong Hyun looked at the galactic map showing the spread of human influence. In 6 months, the alliance had grown from one solar system to controlling nearly a quarter of the galaxy. They had done it not through conquest, but by offering something the Confederation never had: the freedom to change and grow. "Accept the surrenders," he ordered, "but make sure they understand the rules. In the alliance, every species governs itself. No sacred codes, no ancient protocols, just beings working together to build better lives." Captain Sang-hoon was preparing for the first alliance assembly, where representatives from dozens of species would meet as equals to discuss their shared future. The idea of democratic government on a galactic scale was another human innovation that the Confederation considered impossible. "Captain, the Confederation Council is demanding to attend the assembly as observers," his diplomatic staff reported. "What did you tell them?" Sang-hoon asked. "That they could apply for membership like everyone else. Equal representation, mutual defense, and the right to self-governance. No special privileges for former empires." As Sang-hoon looked at the preparations for the assembly, he realized that humanity had done something unprecedented in galactic history. They had not just defeated a superior force, they had offered a better alternative. The sacred codes that had governed the galaxy for 50,000 years were being replaced by principles that actually served the beings who lived under them. The galaxy was learning that rules existed to help people, not control them. And humans were the teachers showing them how to build something better than what had come before. The age of the Confederation was ending. The age of the Alliance was just beginning. 2 years after first contact, Captain Sang-hoon stood before the Galactic Assembly, looking at representatives from over 300 species. The Great Hall on Unity Station buzzed with conversations in dozens of languages, but somehow everyone understood each other. The Universal Translation System was another human innovation that made the old Confederation's formal protocols seem unnecessarily complicated. "The Assembly recognizes Captain Sang-hoon of the Human Alliance," announced the session moderator, a being whose species had joined just last month after their homeworld declared independence from Confederation rule. Sang-hoon stepped to the speaking platform, still amazed at how different this was from the rigid hierarchy of the old galactic order. In the Assembly, every species had an equal voice, regardless of how long they had been traveling among the stars, or how advanced their technology was. 2 years ago, humanity made first contact with the galaxy, he began. We were told we had to prove ourselves worthy of respect, submit to ancient laws we had no part in making, and wait decades for the privilege of being treated as equals. A ripple of amusement passed through the Assembly. Many of the representatives had similar stories about their first encounters with Confederation authority. "We said no," Sang-hoon continued. "Not because we wanted to fight, but because we believed that respect should be freely given between thinking beings, not earned through submission to outdated rules." Admiral Ji-yoon watched the Assembly proceedings from the station's command center, where displays showed the current state of the galaxy. The old Confederation controlled less than half its former territory now, and that number shrank every month as more species chose freedom over ancient stability. "Admiral, we're getting reports from the frontier sectors," her aide reported. 3 more Confederation worlds have declared independence this week. They're requesting alliance membership and defense support. "Approved," Ji-yoon said without hesitation. "Send joint fleets to assist with their transition. Standard procedure, respect local government, provide technical assistance, and remind everyone that membership is voluntary." The joint fleets were another human innovation that had revolutionized galactic military thinking. Instead of forcing all species to use identical equipment and tactics, the Alliance encouraged diversity. Human strategic thinking combined with alien technology and cultural perspectives created something more effective than either could achieve alone. Commander Hyo-jin supervised the integration of former Confederation worlds into the Alliance, a process that would have taken decades under the old system. The Confederation required extensive evaluation periods, cultural adjustment protocols, and gradual introduction of new technologies. The Alliance simply asked what each world needed and helped them build it. "Commander, the Zeran system is ready for full integration," her staff reported. "They've established democratic councils on all inhabited worlds and requested assistance with upgrading their industrial base." "Excellent," Hyo-jin replied. "Send them the standard technology package and a team of advisors. Make sure they know the advisors are there to help, not to give orders." The transformation of former Confederation worlds never failed to amaze her. When beings were free to govern themselves and pursue their own development, they accomplished things that the rigid Confederation system had declared impossible. Captain Jeon-woo commanded the diplomatic mission that made first contact with the Keepers, the ancient species that had created the sacred codes 50,000 years ago. The Keepers had remained hidden in their home system for millennia, watching the galaxy from a distance and communicating only through their mysterious codes. "Captain, we're receiving a response to our diplomatic request," his communications officer reported. "The Keepers have agreed to meet with Ambassador In-young." Jeon-woo felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness. The Keepers were living legends, being so old and wise that most species considered them mythical. What would they think of the humans who had torn down everything they had built? Ambassador In-young prepared for the most important diplomatic meeting in galactic history. She had studied everything known about the Keepers, which was very little. They were ancient, powerful, and had apparently chosen to isolate themselves rather than directly rule the civilization they had shaped. The key meeting took place on the Keeper homeworld, a planet that seemed to exist outside normal space and time. The Keeper who greeted In Young appeared as a shifting pattern of light and energy, beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "I am eldest Keeper Zurthak," the being communicated through thoughts rather than words. "I have watched your species with great interest, Ambassador In Young. You have accomplished something we thought impossible." "What is that, eldest?" In Young asked respectfully. "You have proven that our greatest creation was also our greatest mistake," Zurthak replied. "The sacred codes were designed to bring order to a chaotic galaxy, to prevent the wars and conflicts that destroyed countless civilizations in the ancient past." In Young waited politely for the Keeper to continue. "But in creating perfect order, we also created perfect stagnation," Zurthak admitted. "For 50,000 years, the galaxy has been safe but unchanged. Your species has shown us what we lost when we chose stability over growth." "The codes served their purpose," In Young said carefully. "They brought peace to the galaxy and prevented countless wars. But perhaps it's time for something new." "Indeed," Zurthak agreed. "We have decided to emerge from our isolation and observe this new age you have created. Your alliance represents something we never considered. Order through cooperation, rather, than control." The news that the Keepers approved of the alliance sent shockwaves through what remained of the Confederation. If the creators of the sacred codes themselves believed the old system was obsolete, what hope did the traditionalists have? Captain Jamin commanded the first joint exploration mission into unknown space beyond the galactic rim. His crew included beings from 12 different species, each contributing their unique perspectives and abilities to the mission of discovering what lay beyond the mapped regions of space. "Captain, long-range sensors are detecting artificial structures in the next system," reported his science officer, a Velthari who had joined the alliance to escape Confederation restrictions on research. "Natural or constructed?" Jamin asked. "Definitely constructed, but not by any known species. The design principles don't match anything in our databases." Jamin smiled. 2 years ago, such a discovery would have required months of reports to Confederation authorities before any investigation could begin. Now they could simply go look for themselves. "Set course for the structures," he ordered. "Let's see what's out there." Admiral Mi-jung watched the exploration mission from her flagship New Dawn, reflecting on how much the galaxy had changed in just 2 years. The old Confederation had been obsessed with maintaining control and preventing change. The Alliance was dedicated to encouraging growth and exploration. "Admiral, we're receiving final reports from the Confederation surrender negotiations," her aide announced. "The remaining Confederation worlds have agreed to join the Alliance as autonomous regions. Supreme Chancellor Velthar will address the galaxy in 1 hour." Mi-jung nodded. The last holdouts of the old order were finally accepting that the galaxy had moved beyond their ancient system. It was not conquest or destruction that had defeated them, but simply being offered something better. Supreme Chancellor Velthar's address was broadcast across the galaxy. The leader of what had once been the most powerful civilization in known space stood before cameras looking older and more tired than anyone had ever seen him. "Citizens of the galaxy," he began. "After careful consideration, the Confederation Council has voted to dissolve our government and join the Human Alliance as equal members. The sacred codes that have governed our civilization for 50,000 years are hereby declared obsolete." He paused and for a moment seemed to struggle with the words. "The humans have taught us that the purpose of government is to serve its people, not to control them. The purpose of law is to protect freedom, not restrict it. The purpose of civilization is to help beings grow and thrive, not to maintain order for its own sake." As Velthar concluded his historic address, Admiral Mi-jung realized that humanity had achieved something unprecedented in galactic history. They had not conquered an empire, they had converted it. The galaxy was choosing to follow human principles not because they were forced to, but because those principles offered a better way to live. "Admiral," her communications officer reported, "we're receiving membership applications from the last 17 independent systems. That makes the Alliance officially unanimous across all known inhabited space." Mi Jung looked at the galactic map showing a civilization united not by force or ancient tradition, but by the simple human idea that all thinking beings deserved respect and freedom. "Send confirmation to all applicants," she said. "Welcome them to the Alliance, and remind them that membership means both rights and responsibilities. We're all in this together now." As the New Dawn continued its patrol of Alliance space, Mi Jung reflected on the lesson humanity had taught the galaxy. Rules and laws were tools to serve life, not masters to control it.